Hey guys, so I just got off the bus, and as usual lately I've been doing the Merced and Eucalyptus drop off because I'm not totally sure whether or not the bus drivers would be able to drop me off at Burger King. I mean, I'm sure this one would have done it, but then again, she was doing the big bus, and what she just had to do was drive us, or basically take the longer route off Amy and Driscoll, if you will. Well, basically, yeah, no, it wasn't Amy, it was Driscoll Road. She had to take the longer route down. She had to go further down to get onto Merced, because she said if she would have turned right there, it would have, been a little bit of a dip or something like that, or it wouldn't have worked. So she had to take the long route, on Driscoll. She had to go further down on Driscoll, like I said, to make the turn onto Merced to drop me off at Merced and Eucalyptus, which isn't a problem or anything. I'm totally fine with it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about something that, a lot of people were hoping for, they were hoping for, and now they're finally getting it. But could there be a problem, on the hands of those that have made this decision finally become a reality? And of course, what I'm talking about is tonight on the Smackdown after Elimination Chamber, basically the post-Elimination Chamber edition of Smackdown, we had a contract signing, ironically on the same night as Rampage had their contract signing, which was done this past Wednesday because Rampage was taped, AEW Rampage that is. But tonight live, we had a contract signing for the main event, the match, as far as we know, most likely, indefinitely, that will close out Wrestlemania. And that's Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, champion versus champion, because Brock won the WWE title for the 10th time. Well, at least won his 10th championship in WWE this past Saturday. And Roman Reigns retained his Universal title, and now basically Saturday it was officially announced as champion versus champion. And a lot of folks were hoping for a while that, well, if you're going to do this, fine, but make it a unification match. Do the right thing and unify these belts. Well, guess what? Tonight, if you will, moments, maybe a few hours before SmackDown went on the air, WWE announced via social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, that yes, indeed, we will have a unified champion after WrestleMania. And I think that's a great move. And you know what? I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of people, some that I've mentioned before, like Just Alex Hicks of Just Alex Central, and Alex's World here on YouTube, Just Alex here on YouTube, that is. And Just Alex Just Alex Central, I should say, on Twitter. But yeah, like I said, Just Alex, Alex Hicks, formerly Deluxe Man. He, JD from NY206, Solomonster, everybody is going to be giving WWE, the credit, a little bit of credit, if you will, from finally making a decision that makes sense. It makes sense because what you do is you basically allow, a lot of other championships, to get some notice, if you will. Now, are there detractors and everything? Oh, absolutely there are detractors. There are some fans that don't like the idea that we're going to have a unified champion because now nobody else gets an opportunity, at competing for the title. But here's the thing. That's the positiveness of it. That's the positiveness of this whole situation. You see, back when we only had one champion, it opened the door for many more people to compete for the Intercontinental title. It opened the door for many more people to compete for the European title. It opened the door for many tag teams to go after the tag titles. And guess what? Even though right now we have 2 sets of tag teams, championships that is, and 2 women's titles, as we speak, although the women's championships won't be affected too much, if at all, but mainly, like I said, the influence that this decision could have for the men's championships, could be everlasting, could be long-lasting, I should say, in the end. It could be long-lasting. But what it does is, even if you want to keep, the tag titles separate, even if you want to keep, the U.S. and Intercontinental titles separate, what it does is it opens the door for a lot more people to get a shot at championships. Like if WWE wants to keep them around, they could be like, look, you're not going to be in the main event picture, but what if we paired you with this individual, made you guys a tag team, maybe gave you a story reason for this happening, and you go after the tag team championships. I mean, basically what this would result in, mainly what this would result in, when it's all said and done, is nothing but good. Yeah, I get some people won't be happy with the fact that, well, there's only going to be one champion. Guess what? When the brand extension originally happened in the early to mid 2000s, guess what? That actually was a benefit. That was a benefit because, you had the champion going across different brands. You were giving people opportunities on those brands at the titles. Same with the women's title. And you know what? It worked. People loved it. They appreciated it. They loved it. They appreciated it. Because what it did, for the shows where basically they had to hold off and wait their turn for their guy or gal to get a shot, it allowed those other men and women that were in that picture, were in consideration for at least a shot, to, be given more time, given more opportunity, and even go after, whatever secondary title, that show had. And what it did at the same time is it allowed the secondary title of that show to get more spotlight. It did. It really did. I mean, think about it like this. When Brock would become WWE champion, even currently, but in the past, and he would hold on to the belt for a long time, what did that do for, let's say, the Intercontinental title? What did that do, for the U.S. title, depending on what brand any one of them was on? I tell you what it did. It opened the door for them to get more acknowledgement. It opened the door for them to get more, more of a prestigious, I should say, spotlight put on them. Basically they allowed those championships to get the recognition, they so rightfully deserve. And, a move like this can only do good in the long run for both the Intercontinental and the U.S. titles. That's all it could really do. Now, could this result in us having multiple triple threat matches across pay-per-views? From then on in, if you will, like you have one challenger from Raw, one challenger from Smackdown, and they go up against the unified champion? Absolutely. Could it mean that the unified champ has to pull double duty? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But, to me, I just don't see that, actually happening as much. I mean, the triple threats I could see happening on occasions. I could see, the double duty thing happening more than the triple threats. I'll acknowledge that. But again, like I said, what it does in the long run is it actually gives off a positive effect. It gives off a positive effect if you really want to look at it, because of the fact that, it may not give everybody an opportunity to compete for the championship anymore, and that's true. But what it really does, like I said, is it gives them, opportunities to go after other belts. It opens the door for those other championships to get the recognition they deserve. Everybody complains about the tag team scene on both shows being, pieces of crap. Well, guess what? Something like this can open that door wider for a lot of men to come together, a lot of the male superstars to come together and be like, you know what? Let's become a tag team. Or, the agents, whether you like them or not, the booking team says, hey, these guys like being here, we like them, but we need to do something for them, out of appreciation. Let's make them a tag team, like I mentioned earlier. And it would, and you know what? They wouldn't have a problem with it probably, because hey, at least they're getting an opportunity to shine. They're getting an opportunity, to be on television. They're getting an opportunity possibly to be in a featured match on a pay-per-view or a Smackdown or Raw, down the line. It gives them that opportunity. It gives them that opportunity, if you will. And that was just the bus that dropped me off just now. See what I mean? I could have waited and just said, oh, just drop me off here. I don't know. The thing is, I didn't want to wait. That's the thing, because I didn't know exactly how long it would take. But getting back on topic, like I said, it opens the door for a lot of these things to happen. So I look at the positive out of this, the positiveness out of this, not the negative. Now, is there a chance WWE could screw this up at WrestleMania? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They could come up with a reasoning to where maybe they did a double count out, a double pin more than likely, so that we don't have to have a unified champion. But hopefully they don't do that. They don't do that. And again, what I'm looking at is the positives. And what could have a domino, and what other things could be dominoally affected by this decision in a positive way, for the company and for the men and women, and for the men and women to an extent, as a result. But let me know what your thoughts are about it. How do you feel about WWE going the unification route with this? Let me know down below, as well as in the live chat. With super chats are open, it would be appreciated. And I will talk to y'all later, guys. I am home. I got to get in here. I got to use the restroom. I've been holding it in for a while. And I will talk to y'all later.